Bonjour à tous, hello everyone, bienvenue. Welcome to another episode of Learn French with Madame. Today we are going to talk about les chiffres 60 à 100. So today we're going to talk about numbers 60 through 100. We've already learned numbers 0 through 59, and I'm going to teach you a trick today to help you remember 60 through 100. But I'm going to need a little bit of help on your part. You're going to have to know numbers 0 through 59 really well. So if you don't remember those numbers, you're going to want to pause this video and watch my video on numbers 0 through 59 and then come back to this one. All right? So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to first start off with just writing the tens to review 0 through 59 a really quick short amount of time. And then we're going to move on to 60 through 100. So first off, we have 10 in French, which is 10. Then we have 20, which is 20. 30, which is 30. 40 is 40. And 50 is 50. And I taught you a little trick to help you remember 40 and 50 to think about your aunt or your aunt and that you care for your aunt, and then you're going to sink your aunt. So you're going to sink aunt. So you sank her on a ship. It's not very nice. But let's go ahead and kind of jump right in with numbers 60 through 100. So again, I'm going to start off with tens, and I'm going to just throw some random numbers in there to help us move along to the next big number. But let's start off with 60 first. So we've got 60, which is 60. Okay, so it still has that same aunt sound as 40 and 50. 60. All right, and we're going to go through and write out how we say these once we get a little bit more done. Now I'm going to do 61. So 61 in French, you're going to take 60. So we're going to write 60 down. Now we need to say and 1 because it's 60 and 1. So 60 et 1. All right. Now I'm going to throw a random number in there. Let's do 68. So we're going to take 60 and bring that down. And then we need to remember the number for 8. So we're going to say 68. So that's why I said you need to know those numbers 0 through 59 really well, because these numbers, the smaller numbers, are going to come into play. All right, let's jump over to 70. So I'm going to write this one in a different color. So let's do 70. I'm going to move my paper up so you guys can see. And we're going to jump and do 70. So 70 is going to be 60 plus 10. So I know that doesn't make sense in English, but in French, that's kind of how the higher numbers go. So we're going to take 60 and we're going to add 10 to it. So we're going to say 60. And now we need the number for 10. 10. So 70 is 70. Now, if I wanted to say, for instance, 73, I'm going to take 60 plus 13. So we're going to have to do a little bit of math. So we're going to take 60 and 13. So write 60 down. And now we need 13, which is 13. All right. So my biggest helpful hint for numbers 60 through 100 is that if you can remember 60 and 80, you can do all of the other numbers, because it's going to be 60 plus 10 to equal 70, 60 plus 13 to equal 73, and so on and so on. All right, let's do one more example for the 70s, and then let's move on to the 80s. Let's do the example 77. Sevens are lucky numbers for some, so let's do 77. All right, we're going to take 60 plus 17. So we're going to bring 60 down. So 60. And now we need 17, which was 10 plus 7, so 10 and 7. So we have 77 for 77. So if you don't know numbers 0 through 20 really well, you're going to want to know those ASAP because you're going to have to use them for the upper higher numbers as well. All right, let's jump over to do 80s. So I'm going to move my paper just a tad bit and let's jump to do the 80s. So we've got 80, which is going to be 80. So 4, so 80, and then 20, 20. So 80 for 80. Now, if I wanted to say 82, we're going to say 80 and then 2. So 80, 22. 82. All right, let's do one more. Let's do, which numbers haven't we done? Let's do 84. We haven't done 84 yet. So we're going to bring our 80 down, 80. And now we need 4. So 84. All right, hopefully you're kind of seeing a pattern. If you can remember the 10, the whole number, and you know the numbers 1 through 20 really well, you can pretty much make any number that your heart desires. We have one last group moving on up to 100, which is the 90s. So notice how I'm not writing every single number out because you should be able to remember those numbers 0 through 50 pretty well, or at least 0 through 20. And then once you know those numbers, you can make the rest of the numbers. All right, so we're going to do 90 next. 90 and 70 follow the same pattern as 60 and 80 did. So 70 was 60 plus 10. So 90 is going to be 80 plus 10. So we're going to bring 80 down and write 80 10 plus 10. So this is really 4 times 20 plus 10, if that helps you see the math. All right, let's do a couple more. We haven't done 95 yet. We haven't done one with 5, so let's do 95. So we're going to bring our 80 down. All right, so bring our 80 down. And just like with the 70s, how we added the 10, so to get 73, it was 60 plus 13. We need to do the same thing with 90s. So to get 95, we've got 80 plus 15. So it's going to be 95. So 80 plus 15. All right, and just for fun, let's do 99. So for 99, we're going to bring 80 down again. So 80. All right, now we need 19. So 80 plus 19. So 99. 99. Kind of a long number once you get into the really high numbers. And then we have our very last number. Our very last number is 100. So 100 in French is cent. Cent. And that is number 60 through 100. So let's go through and let's kind of write out just the 10 whole number so that way you guys know how to say it. All right, so for 60, we have soit and then cent. Trying to think about how you guys would say it. Soixante. All right. 70. So we're going to write this down again. Soixante. And then 10. Okay. For 80, we've got 4. So 4. 20. All right. 80. And then for 90, it's the same thing. 80 and then 10. So I'm not going to write that one out because those two are right there. I am going to write out 100 though. It's like 100. cent. All right. Hopefully, knowing this little helpful hint about how to say the numbers, if you know the whole number, so 60, 70, 80, and 90, plus numbers 1 through 20, hopefully this isn't super hard. It's going to take a little bit of practice though. So I highly suggest that when you're driving around town, you look at license plates and you try to say those numbers out loud in French, or even just try to see how high you can count. So maybe start from 0 and go to 50, and then start from 59 and go through 100, and just try to see how high that you can count. But it shouldn't be super hard as long as you remember those 10 whole numbers, so 60, 70, 80, 90, and then the numbers 1 through 19. Because once you take those whole numbers and add them, you should be all right, and you can make any number that you would like. All right? If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Mais c'est tout et à plus.